A very good morning to the student of class 10. Welcome to your political science class. We are going today to discuss regarding chapter 6 of your political science, that is your political parties. The three chapters which is after your federalism, that is chapter 3 and 4, 5 has been omitted by the CBSE. So that is why we have taken up the political parties. We have already done this class in the online, online classes, and this is the lecture which has been provided for those students who have not been able to catch up with the online classes. So students, do you know what does a political party means to us and why is it an important part in the democracy? Then we can recall back to our the studies which we have done in the class 9 in the last year, where we have discussed about the different political parties and the journey or the tour of a democracy, where we have seen both the democratic party as well as a non-democratic party. Okay. So some they were having a privilege, some they had a one-party system, some two-party system, and the multi-party system. So everywhere the similarity is what the political party was an omnipresent in all these cases. Okay. So now when it is omnipresent in all these cases, we will come to know that what is its importance and what makes it very important in the democracy. So as the discussion continues, we can we'll discuss in the later part that what are its components, what are its functions. But before that, what is its objective that needs to be discussed. So political party are one of the visible institution in a democracy. It is an institution which it tries to run the government with the various policies and procedures which has been debated in the house, and after passing out the act or the law, they try to govern the country. Okay. So, if you ask the common people regarding the constitution or the government, they may, you might not get an accurate answer about the what is a constitution or what is a democratic government called. But if you ask what is a political party, very much you may get an answer that actually what is the political party and who is the political leader. Okay, so it is a very much popular among the people in this institution. They know that it is an institution which runs the government. But besides being popularity, they cannot deny that some peoples are also critics regarding its functions. They already blame everything what has been happening in the country. All the ill effects which has been happening in the country is totally to be blamed to the political parties. So the views are both in the positive side also as well as in the negative side also. Hence it is natural to ask that is it do we require the political parties to run the government? Because there was a time about 100 years ago when there were a few countries who were having the political parties, and now there are few that who do not have any political parties. So there is a drastic changes. Few years where there was very few political parties, and now where the political party is omnipresent all over the country, and few countries are only there where there this kind of privileges is not been found, where the peoples are having the monarchical government or the military government. So now when we are here to discuss regarding its function, so it is very much important to know what is a political party. So I have kept the definition on the board, and it says that a political party is a group of people. It is a group of people, mind you, who come together to contest elections and hold the power in the government. Okay, so it is not a party of a one single body. It is a group of people who come together and they mobilize the people. Mobilize the people with their different policies and program, and the people, if the peoples appreciate their policies and programs, then they elect this power in the elections, in the forthcoming elections, and in this election, the peoples, whoever has given the majority of votes, that party becomes a political majority party who rules the government. Okay. So this is basically the definition of a political party. So the two things is very important. The objective here is what forming the policies and the program. So they agree on some programs and policy for the society with a view to promote the collective good and interests. Their main objective is what? To formulate the policies and program, and that should be for the welfare of the people. Okay, so how and what are the procedures through which they can keep these things in front of the people? Then it is how? It is through these political parties only. Since there can be various views on what is good for all, the parties try to persuade people. Okay, so they come to analyze their policies and programs in front of the people, and they try to take the judgments of the people for their policies and the programs, which will be for the betterment of the society. Okay. So as we know that there are many political parties, so all the political parties are divided on their different objectives. So society has been divided on the different political parties also, and these political parties are having their inherent members, and these inherent members are loyal towards their political party leaders. So these kinds of loyalty is known as your partisanship. So this is very much been found in your political parties, that the peoples are loyal towards your party members and the party leaders, and they go with all the means in order to win the vote of the country's people. Okay, so thus a party is known by which area it stands for, whose interest it upholds, and which policy it supports. So different parties is having the different members here, and the different members are having the different supportive members also in the society. So that is why political party enables the society to be divided. Okay, and it is having members within their parties who supports their objectives and the programs. Okay, so while forming the political parties, there are three components which is very important. One is what? The leaders. The parties need a very competent leader who can lead the party in a better manner. And the second, they have an active members who are the persons who does all the workout for the political parties, and they see whether these parties are coming to the expectations of the people or not. Okay, and the third is what? Their followers. So these are the three components. If the followers are ready with you and they have accepted your views and ideas and your programs, which is for the welfare of the country, then they will elect you for the next coming elections. And with that, you can, if you are the majority party, you can rule the government. So these are the components and these are the objectives why political party is important. Now with the discussion of the functions, we can analyze why it is becoming very important institution for the functions of the democracy. Okay, so I have written all the functions in the board, on the board. The first function is what? Parties contest elections. Okay. So we all know that there are numerous party, but only 6 parties are being given as the 6 to 7 members are given as a national party. We'll come to the discussion later that what is a national and the regional party. But for now, we'll understand that for party to become in power, they have to contest an elections. Okay. So in most democracies, elections are fought, especially among the candidates put up by the political parties. Okay. The two cases where we see that the political party members are being elected. In some countries, you see that the, like for an example, USA, supporters and the members of the party selects its candidates. Okay. But but some countries like India, only the top leaders selects the candidates for contesting an elections. Okay, so this is two different cases where the party members are being selected. In one, you'll see that the supporters and the members of the party selects its candidate, whereas in India, we see only the top party leaders selects a candidate. So the transparency in selection of the candidates is very less in our country. Then the second function is what? Political parties play a decisive and important role in making laws. Okay, so they are the law making body. So in order to make laws, they have to go through the certain procedures. Now, what are these procedures? So in a democracy, a huge number of the procedure is that they have to debate. They have to all the laws which is being passed out by the parliament needs to be debated in the house, and these house, both the party elected members in the house needs to vote out this whether they are accepting or rejecting. So the policies and programs and the voters choose from them. Each of us may have a various opinions and views. Okay, so many people are having a different opinions and views. So how the people can be specific regarding choosing their policies and program? So in a democracy, how can they choose and choose the policies and program? Then they can choose it with the help with the help of those policies which is mostly related to the public. Okay, it says that in a democracy, a huge number of similar opinions have to be gathered together, which means that maybe there are various number of opinions, but all these opinions needs to be clubbed up together and need to be generalized, that among all these which is the very most important. If that is to be chosen, the very most important thing which has been related to the mass number of people, then that can be chosen as the policies or the program which needs to be implemented. Okay. Then the third is what? Political party form and runs the government. Okay, so as we have noticed in the last year, the big policy decisions are taken by the political executive, and that really comes from the political parties. So the party members, how do? They recruit their leaders, they give the different training to them, and then they make them equipped to run the government in the way they want. Okay, so in this way, the peoples are going to run the government, because the peoples who are coming from the different background, they will not know what are the procedure to run the government. So for that, they needs to be trained, and after training, they can come and they can form the government. And the fourth role is what of the political party is the role of the opposition. The party which do not wins the elections is basically the opposition party. Now this opposition party plays a very important role here, because it tries to be the voice of the people by criticizing the government for its wrong policies and failure. Okay, so it is basically a what? It is like a watchdog, and it performs the work of checks and balances. Okay, so that is the work of the opposition party. And then we have, it shapes the public opinion. Okay, so political parties have different pressure groups. Okay, with the help of different pressure groups, they try to bring up what the people really want, and on that basis they try to form their policies. Okay, parties sometimes also launch the movement for the solution of the problem faced by the people, and often opinions in the society crystallizes on the lines followed by the parties. Okay, so these opinions are being crystallized by having the case study, and after going through that, they form the different policies. Okay, that is why the political party becomes important here. And the last one is what? Access to government welfare schemes and machinery. Okay, so what does it say is that parties provide a people's access to government welfare schemes and machinery implemented by the government. So all the different welfare schemes are there, for which the party sanctions it, and it tries to get it done under the certain periods which has been recommended for the scheme, or it provokes the government officers to get the things done on time. Okay, so for a common citizen, it is easy to approach the local party leader than to the government officer, because they are much more familiar to them, because they go to their door-to-door for asking the vote, so they are in touch with them, whereas the government officers are regarding the people's needs and the aspiration. No matter the parties, no matter they do not fully trust on the party leader, but still the representative, they try to follow the demands, they try to follow the political parties whom they are supporting, and they political parties also indeed have to be responsible to the public's demands and the requirement. So they go both hand in hand. The peoples try to believe or have a trust on the political parties, and the political party members takes the people into its own trust by fulfilling their demands and the aspiration. So these are the various functions of the political parties, which tells us, these functions tells us why it becomes important for the political parties to be functions in a democracy. Okay. So besides this functions, there are some other things also why the political party is important. Like for an example, every candidate in elections will, if there is no political parties, every candidate in the elections will be independent, and if they are independent, nobody will take the responsibility of how the country will be functions. Nobody will be accountable. So if you are in the political parties, you are taking the responsibility for your policies and programs, and also for the things which you have not been able to give to the citizen. Secondly, no one will have the ability to make any promises to the people about any major policy changes. Okay, so if there is only individual person, then an individual person can die after every 5 years. Then who will take the responsibility for bringing the changes? So the policy which has been framed under the provision of the political party, it is approved when it has been done. It is approved when it has been done, and it has been sanctioned by the peoples who are supporting them. Okay, so if there is a political party, if one person dies or the one person doesn't, the entire team takes the responsibility to bring the changes which has been given in the policy. But if it is an individual person, he might take the changes or he might not take the responsibility on his shoulders. So for that reason, political party becomes an important factor here. The third case why it becomes important, that the government may form, but its utility will remain uncertain ever. Okay. Why has it been said here? It has been said here that if the rules is not being sanctioned, okay, if there is no act or no punishment behind it, then it will not have its effect. So if it is political party, by all its means it will try to frame the law and it will get it passed. Okay, so for this reason, the utility of anything remains only behind its sanction. I mean, behind anything, there should be some stringent law for why the people will be following this. So it is the political party which gets it debated in the parliament, and which makes it very easy for the party members to get the laws being passed in the house. Okay. And as we all know that the political party members who are being represented from the different constitution, they are responsible to their own constitution. So if there is no political party, then everybody will work for their own constitution and nobody will work for the entire country. So for that reason, political parties becomes an important factor. Then the last one is why political party becomes important. Directly or indirectly, we know that it is a representative democracy. It is a representative democracy which we have discussed in the previous classes. Okay, and we have seen that as society becomes complex and large, they also require some agency to gather various views on different issues and to present this to the government. Okay, so in order to rule anything, or in order to make the things work out, what we have to do, we have to reduce the complexity and make it into a simplest form. And the efficiency would be developed only when we try to rule the large area by dividing it into the small area. So this has been done by the representative democracy. Okay, if there was no political party, the federal system would not have been worked out, and the large area would not have been created into the small unit. And if it would have not been created, it would not have been worked in the proper manner. So all these cases proves the fact that why democracy is important. I mean, why political parties becomes an important institution in the democracy. Okay, first we have discussed the objective, that it comes in the it comes in the democracy because in order to formulate different policies and the programs. So it is the first objective. Then the partisanship we have seen among the peoples, because political party divides the society, and as the society is being divided, so your supporters of the parties also gets divided. So for that reason political parties is important. And then the components of the political party we have discussed in the form of leaders, the active members and the followers. And after that we have seen all these functions. One is to context election, the other is your policies and programs, the third is your decision making body, the fourth is your the political parties forms and the run government. Okay, no other, all the parties contest election, but only few parties become in the majority and they try to run the government. Okay, and then it helps to shapes the public opinion, and there is an opposition party also. And then the last one is what? It works for the welfare schemes. Okay, and there are different government schemes for which the peoples are very much close to the political parties. Then besides this, we have seen why it has become necessary to form the political party. Then the first important thing what we have discussed here is regarding that that if it has been divided into the different constitution, then nobody will take the responsibility of the country and everybody will be responsible for their own constitution. Besides this, we have talked about that if a person dies, then all the policies and programs will all be shut down. So that is why a representative which is representing a party can function much well, because if one party fails to accomplish his work, then the other party members may keep that policy in its mind and try to brings its importance in among the people. So all these makes it important that why political party is becoming very important institution in our constitutions. Now we'll discuss how many parties should we have. Okay. So when we talk about how many parties should we have, so the question is a bit absurd. Which means to be said that you cannot really decide that what kind of a party or how many party is to be governed for a certain country, because this is basically dependent on a very long past or your history for any country. Okay, some country may be good enough to have one party system, some country may be good enough to have a bi-party system, and some country like India may be good enough to have a multi-party system. Like for an example, when we go back to our past, it evolves for party system is basically it takes over a long time depending on the nature of a society, its regional and social division, its systems of election and its history of politics. So this is a very much important thing while framing the different party system in our country. We have to depend on our history. So when our country was when our country has gotten independent in 1947, that time we couldn't have thought of one party system because of accommodating so much of diversity. Of one party system would not be one of our excuses. So for that reason we cannot go for one party system. Secondly, we cannot go for two party system system also, because there is a regional diversity, there is a multilingual state. So that is why India could not go for this also. So these cannot be changed, but what is the other thing which India could have opted for? So India has opted for the multi-party system. Okay, this multi-party system was the need of that hour because of our diversity and our variations in our country. Okay, variations of the geographical as well as of the social. Okay, and these multi-party system was able to absorb this variation. So that is why the question is a bit absurd, because it cannot say that which party system is good for a country. Okay, in any party system to be selected for any respective country will be dependent on its historical context. Okay, so as I have told you, in our historical context, why it has become for us to take the multi-party system, because it was only the answer. I mean, the variation in our society could be accomplished only by keeping the multi-party system in our democracy. Okay, so that is why we cannot give a clear-cut answer to this. Besides this, we also know that in a democracy, any group of people who wants to form the political party can come up and form the political parties. There is no hard and fast rules for that. Okay, but it depends upon how many people, I mean, how many political parties are the national parties. That needs to be answered properly. Okay, so in this formal sense, there are a huge number of political parties in each nation. Okay, in our country, in the Election Commission of India, it has been registered, 750 parties has been registered in our Election Commission of India. Okay, among this Election Commission, all these parties, though are the serious contenders in the elections, but they generally do not have the majority vote to become the national party. It is only the handful of parties which is more effective in the race to win the elections and make the government, which we will discuss in the later lecture. Okay. So the question here again comes here, that how many effective or major parties are good for a democracy. Then I just told you the question is absurd, it is meaningless, because that depends upon the historical context of the society. So for we have taken the three system. The one system here I have mentioned as a one party system, which has been mentioned in your NCERT, and then the second is your bi-party system, and the third is your multi-party system. So in one party system, we have taken the Communist Party rule in China. So we have seen that in China, there is People's Republics of China, that party which has been taken, and till date that party has been working out. Okay, any members who wants to contest an election has to first get initial approval of this party, and then they can contest an election. So we can say that in this case, we can say that we cannot think that a democracy has been given in this case, because the people do not have any choice, and they are having only one option. Either they want it or they do not want it. They have to go with that option. Okay, so this is not a democratic option. Then the second case is what? Bi-party system. So in the two countries, so democracy at least provides the two parties. If there is a two party, then we can say that is a democratic system, because the peoples are having actually two choices here. So any democratic systems will allow at least two parties to compete in elections and give a fair chances for competing the parties to come into power. So both the party has a right to compete, and whoever wins the vote of the peoples will become as a majority party. So in USA we are having a two party, that is a Democratic Party and the Republican Party, and the United Kingdom is also having a bi-party system, that is a Conservative Party and a Labour Party. Okay. When talking for the multi-party system which our country is following, then in many parties, like here, many parties compete for the power, or more than two parties have a reasonable chance of coming to the power, either in alliance or in the coalition. So for an alliance, just to discuss that, I have already told you in the previous lecture when we were discussing about the federalism, that alliance is that when you form before the election to fight, you form before an election with one of the two parties and try to make, you try to negotiate with that party, and then you try to fight an election, and after winning that, you can, after winning the vote of the people, then you can form the government. So in 2004 we had three alliances, that is your UPA alliance, then we had an NDA alliance, and then we have our left front. Okay. So these were the alliance. So the multi-party system often looks very messy. Okay, when we talk about the efficiency, then we'll say that the two-party system or the one-party system is much more efficient. But when we compare regarding the democratic politics, then we'll say that the multi-party system is much more better. But while working, we see that it is very messy, and it results into the political instability, because here the peoples are mostly dependent on pulling their legs of the other. Okay. At the same time, this system allows a variety of opinions and interests to enjoy the political representation. So there are lots of confusions and chaos in this kind of a system, because there are multiple ideas which the peoples have to choose among it, and in that there is a large amount of time which has been wasted here. Okay, so for 2-3 reasons why the multi-party system is not being efficient, we have discussed here, and which system is an ideal for all the situation and all the countries. It depends upon the historical context of the country. Okay, so now we will discuss about the national parties and the regional parties. So when we talk about the different parties in the democracy, then we can just simply say this line which has been given in your page number 54, that democracies that follow a federal system of government throughout the world tend to have two types of political parties. We have already discussed when we are discussing about the one-party system and two-party system, that in a democracy at least two-party system should be there, so that the people can have their options in selecting any one of the government. Okay, so here we are in democracy. In the federal system we are having the two types of the political parties. Now has been divided into two parts. One is your central level and one is in your local level. In the case of Belgium, we have seen how the powers has been shared between the central level and the local level. So in any democracy, if it has to function properly, we have to divide the powers between the different units. Okay, so it has been said that parties that are present only in one of the federation and the parties that are present in many or all the federal units. So one which runs throughout the country, that is your central level, and the one which is running in the state, that is called your unit. Okay, so this is the case in our country as well. There are some countrywide parties which are known as national parties, and these parties have their units in many states. Okay, but by and large, all these units follow the same programs, policies and strategy that is decided and planned in the national level. Okay, so this is for all the country. We have to go to one of the independent body who tries to select the different national parties, and there are some rules and procedures through which needs to be judged how the national party is to be given the privilege for enjoying the status. So every party in the nation has to be registered first to whom? To an independent body, that is the Election Commission of India. While the commission treats all the parties equally, it offers some few privileges to some of the established parties. Okay, like for an example, it gives some unique symbols to that party, Only the official candidate of that party can use that symbol wherever it goes. So parties that get these privileges and some other special facilities are recognized by the Election Commission for this purpose. Okay, so these parties who are getting the symbols and they are recognized bodies or the established parties are basically known as a recognized political parties. The Election Commission has laid down detailed criteria of the promotion of seats and votes that a political party must get in order to be recognized party. Okay, so a party that secures, we'll see now what are the criteria which Election Commission has put forward to see whether a party is a national party or not. So for becoming a national party, what is an important criteria is what? A party that secures at least 6% of the total votes in an election. Mind you, it is how much? 6%. 6% of the total votes in an election to the Lok Sabha election or the assembly elections. In both elections, 4 states and wins 4 seats in the Lok Sabha is recognized as a national party. Okay, so 6% of vote and 4 seats needs to be won in the 4 seats needs to be won in the Lok Sabha. That party can be recognized as a political party. Once again, a party which wins the 6% of the vote, which secures 6% of the vote and wins at least 4 seats in the Lok Sabha election, and that party is known as a national party. So there are so many parties, as I have told you, 750 party, but this criteria is not fulfilled by all these parties. Only 7 parties are there in the pipeline where we can which can be mentioned as follows. Number 1 is your Indian National Congress. Okay, so one by one we'll discuss regarding it. So Indian National Congress was basically formed in your 1885 by August Octavio Hume. Okay, so he has formed your Indian National Congress. So it was formed during what? It was formed during the British time. In 1885, it was the mono party till 1977, and after this, it was also a ruling party from 1980 to 1989. So mono party means till 1977, it is single party which has won the election. So that is why it is known as mono party. And after 1977, it started losing out, and then it has become a ruling party from 1980 to 1989. So after 1989, its support has declined. Until date, we are seeing that it is one of the opposition party at the center. Second one is what? And the symbol of this party is what? The hand. Okay, the picture of a hand is the symbol of the party. Now, the second party is your Bharatiya Janata Party, 1980. It was formed in 1980 by changing the name of Bharatiya Jana Sangh. The main objective of this party is what? To make a modern and a strong India by drawing inspiration from ancient culture and the values of India. Okay, so it basically revives the culture, it revives our tradition. The main objective of this party is this only. It wants the full territorial and political integration of Jammu and Kashmir with India and a uniform civil code for all the people living in the country, irrespective of the religion. Okay, so it focused on this, and then it came to power in 1998 as an alliance, that is an NDA government, and after that we saw in the past 10 years, this running year, 5 years, and the past year was the ruling party was the Bharatiya Janata Party under the leadership of Pradhan Mantri, then the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Singh Modi. Okay. Then the next is what? Bahujan Samaj Party. So the Bahujan Samaj Party, the symbol of the Bharatiya Janata Party is what? It is a lotus. Okay. Then the third national party is the Bahujan Samaj Party. It was formed in 1984, and its symbol is your elephant. It was formed under the leadership of Kansi Ram, and its main objective is to represent the minorities here, which includes your Dalits, your Adivasis, your religious minorities, and OBCs. Okay, the party draws an inspiration from the ideas and teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, Jyotibai Phule, Sahu Maharaj, Baba Saheb Ambedkar, and Periyar Ramaswamy Naikar. It is mostly popular in Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, and your Delhi. Okay, the fourth party is coming before us is the Communist Party of India, which was which was formed in 1964. Its symbol is your sickle. Okay. So it was founded in 1964. It was formed after splitting the Communist Party of India, and it supports secularism, socialism, and democracy, and opposes your communalism and imperialism. So पूंजीपति को ये इनकार करता है. It doesn't support the capitalist. It supports the secularists. It is socialist and as well as the democratic politics. It supports a socio-economic justice in the country, and it has a strong effect in your Kerala, West Bengal, Tripura, among the poor farmers, factory workers, agricultural laborers, and all the middle class orders who are educated. Okay, its object is economic policy, that it allows a free flow of foreign goods and capitals into the nation should be stopped. Okay, it has been in power in West Bengal without the break of 30 years, and currently it is an opposition party in your West Bengal against the Trinamool Congress, that is your Mamata Banerjee's party. Then the fourth one is what? Your Communist Party of India. Okay, it was formed in 1925, and its symbol is your crop as well as your sickle. So it was formed in your 1925 and believes in the philosophy of Marxism and Leninism, democracy and secularism. It opposed the forces of communalism and secessionism, that is अलगावपन पर ये faith नहीं करता, ये communalism पर faith नहीं करता. It goes for your secularism. It also supports the working group. This is also the party which supports the working class, poor as well as the farmers. It has an influencing strength in your Kerala, Punjab, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, and your Andhra Pradesh. It formed the Left Front in West Bengal, which is an alliance. Okay, and the Left Front, which is an alliance, and the Left Front ruled the state for 7 consecutive terms, that is 1977 to 2011, 5 years with Jyoti Basu as a CM and 2 under the Buddhadev Bhattacharya. Okay, so this was the support of the Communist Party in the Left Front, and Biman Bose is the chairman of the West Bengal Left Front Committee. Okay. Then the next we are having the Nationalist Congress Party, that is your NCP. It was formed in 1999, and it was splitted after it has splitted from the Congress Party. The founder members was your Sharad Pawar, Tariq Anwar, and P.A. Sangma, who has died now. Its main objective is democracy, equality, and Gandhian secularism, Gandhian philosophy, secularism, federalism, and social justice. It has a great support of it has supported the Shiv Sena in your Maharashtra government, and currently it is forming the party in your state government. Okay, so this is how we have divided the different parties and the different objectives, and its symbol is your time. Okay. Then we have in the next part our regional party. So what is the regional party? So a party that secures. So why did this regional party has to occur? So as I told you, the regional party has to occur because for the management of the different units differently and efficiently, we need the distribution of the power. So that is why the regional party has come into function. So a party that secures at least 6% of the total vote in an election to the Legislative Assembly. 6%, here also 6%, here also 6%. But here it is 4 seats and here it is 2 seats. So a party that secures at least 6% of total vote in an election to the Legislative Assembly of a state and wins at least 2 seats, and wins at least how many seats? 2 seats in the recognized is recognized as a state party or as a regional party. Okay, so there are many regional parties, few regional parties whose units are also found in more than one state. So those are your Samajwadi Party, Samta Party, then Rashtriya Janata Dal, then your Biju Janata Dal, then Sikkim Democratic Front, and Mizo National Front. So these parties are having their link. Parties which are having at the national level political organization with units in many states are written here. Okay. So what we have seen over the last 4 decades, the strength and the number of these parties has expanded. Why it has been expanded? Because we have seen that that Indian parliamentary politically is more and more diverse, and no one political party has been able to secure its own majority till until 2014. So it was important for the democracy to form the political ruling party. So here, due to which the national parties are compelled to make an alliance with the state parties. Okay, so for that reason the alliance system has introduced after 2014, and many people it was not introduced in 2014 only, it was introduced during the 90s only, when the alliance concept has been come there, and many regional party was given the chance to form a party with the national party in order to run the government. Okay, so due to which the national parties are compelled to make alliance with the state parties, and since 1996 nearly every one of the state parties has got an opportunity to be a part of one or the other national level coalition government. So this has resulted in what? In strengthening the federal form of democracy. Okay, so with this we have seen the different parties and the different criteria put forward by the election commissions in order to become a national parties or a regional parties. So now we will discuss regarding the challenges which is coming forward, and also the remedies together to see what can be done to improve this institution which is called as your political parties in the democracy. So as we have studied that how crucial the political parties are for the working of a democracy, we cannot deny this fact that since political parties are the most visible face of the democracy, so it is very obvious that the people's regards regarding the political parties will also be conflicting. Okay, so what is being said here that since political parties are the most visible face of the democracy, it is natural that the people blame the political parties for all the ill things, whatever is being wrong with the working of the democracy. Okay, so this is one of the most common blame all over the country, which peoples are blaming to the political parties. Okay, so all over the world people express a strong dissatisfaction with the failure of the parties to do their functions well, and it has also been the case of the India also, where we are finding a lot of criticism and dissatisfaction among the peoples of India, and they are not being able to accept any of the political parties because of the 4 problems which is underlined under these political parties. Okay, so the 4 challenges I have already mentioned here. One is a lack of internal democracy, the second is a dynastic succession, the third is a growing role of money and muscle power, and the fourth is your parties don't seems to offer a meaningful choice. So we'll discuss one by one. So the first here is the lack of the internal democracy. So there is no transparency in the democracy internally. We will get to see here how that the powers are concentrated in the hands of the few. Okay, so there is a tendency in political parties all over the world towards the concentration of powers in one or the few top leaders. Okay, how? Because there is no organization meetings been held, there is no membership register seen, there is no internal democracy on what basis the people has been elected as the member of the party. There is no regular election found at her. So the ordinary peoples do not have access to the informations, nor can they influence the decision making to the top leaders. Okay, so these are one of the reason. Besides this, if there is a disagreement with the leaders, then it is very obvious that you will be out of the party. So more than the party's loyalty here, the leader's loyalty is very important. I mean, which leader? The top leaders in the political party's loyalty becomes very important. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why there is the common peoples are not found in their say in the political parties. Then the second problem is a dynastic succession. So the dynastic successions, what we see that in all the parties or in the top leaders, their relatives or their different members who are related to them, or the one who is much more offering a good money for them, so those people are given the ticket. Okay, so the leaders on top have an unfair advantages to favor the people close to them or their family members. So for this reason, this is the second challenge why there is not good people coming in the democracy or in the representative whom the peoples have to select. And the third one is what? The growing role of money and the muscle powers. So we'll see that in recent times, in order to win the majority party, these peoples are going against all means. Like they're taking the help of all the pressure groups. They're also taking the help of the criminals. They're also taking the help of the different businessmen who can help them to make the majority party in the government. Okay, so this is a third challenge which comes in the democracy. During election, this power is very much visible. Candidates who can raise money are nominated. First one. The second one, the rich people and companion who give funds have influences the policy of the democracy. And the fourth challenge is what? Parties don't seem to have a meaningful choice. Means what? The choices which we are given is basically not having any differences. Okay, like for an example, in order to have a meaningful choice, there must be significantly different thought between the different parties. So in recent times, we have seen that this thought has declined. Okay, their ideological differences has basically vanished. Okay, for example, which two countries we can take? India as well as your Britain. So what we have seen in the example of Britain with the Conservative Party and the Labour Party, they agree. They have very less differences in their objective. Like for an example, they agree on more fundamental aspects, but differ only in details on how policies are to be framed and implemented. Okay. Similarly, in our country also, you will see that the differences among all the major parties on the economic policies has reduced. And those who want really separate policies will have to opt for a new kind of a government, and this is not possible. So for that reason, the meaningful choice, because all the parties are having the same choice, so the people are not having a clear cut that which party is better for ruling the government. Okay, because their policies are more or less same on the paper, and on the implementation is basically they are doing their own way out. Okay, so for that reason, these are the challenges which is faced by the political parties. Now, when you have a challenges, you have a remedies also. So the remedies has been put forward here in the reform. Like the first reform is what? Anti-defection law. Now, according to this anti-defection law is what? It says that if any MP or MLA changes the parties, she or he will be losing the seat in the legislature. Okay, before this law was implemented, there were many party members who used to move from one party to the other. So for that reason, there was a lot of confusions in the parties. Just in order to have the post of the minister, they used to change their party. So for that reason, anti-defection law was created. And the second is what? Affidavit. Now what is affidavit? So it is a signed document submitted to an officer where a person makes a sworn statement regarding giving details of his property and the criminal cases. It shows that how much property he has, and if any kind of criminal cases is indulged in, that is to be noticed to the government, okay, or if it is pending against him. So these are the reforms. And the third is what? The election commission, an independent multi-members body which is constituted for the superintendent's direction and conducting election. The election commission passed an order making it necessary for the political parties to file a what? Income tax return. Okay, so these are the three remedies through which we can make our political parties strengthen, because it is the face of the people, okay, as we have discussed. So it needs to be protected, and it needs to be various measures needs to make it much more important for the country. Okay, so there are other ways in which the political parties can be reformed. Just like for number one, people can force the political parties. It can be done through publicity, petitions, agitations, pressure groups, media, movement, and can play a significant role in this. Okay, so what does it say? The people's participation is important, and people's participation is important in the aspect because it is the peoples who can force the political parties to change its decisions and to work for the social welfare. Okay, so what are the measures more which needs to be taken by the political parties in the suggestion? We will just quickly go through that. So to make the political parties much more be alert with their work and much more be responsible, as I have told you that there are two ways which the people can do. One, the people's participation is very much important. Like if the good peoples will not come in democracy, then how we can expect the good democracy, isn't it? So that is why a good and honest people who is wholeheartedly willing to serve the people should come up for and fight for the elections. Okay, with any means they should try, and the people should be counterproductive, which means that they should retort regarding all the bad decision which has been taken in the election in the parliament. Okay, they have to revolt against this either through candle marching or by protesting against the party. So these are the few methods through which we can make the political party be much more sincere towards their work. Okay, because for losing because they will have a fear of losing the seats in the election. So that is why by any other means also they would not like to lose their vote bank. So for that reason, this is one of the best way through which we can force the political parties to be sincere towards their decision. Then there are other suggestions also besides that. Number one is a law should be made to regulate the internal affairs of the political parties. Like for example, how will you regulate the internal laws? Then the internal laws can be regulated by making the register of its member, by following its own constitutional rules, to have an independent authority to take the judgments, and to hold an elections for the higher posts. In this way, what will happen? We can regulate the internal affairs of the political party. The second advice is what? Suggestion is what? It should be made mandatory for the political parties to give minimum number of tickets to the women. About 1/3 of the women in decision making body is required. Okay, so if this is done, then there will be no discrimination between the work of the man or the woman. And the third is what? There should be a state funding for an elections. Like for an example, the government should give parties both in the cash as well as in kind. If in kind it has cash, it can give it the funds for fighting in elections, and if it is kind, then it can give it in the form of petrol, paper, telephone, all these to support their election expenses. And the support could be given in cash on the basis of votes secured by the party in the last elections. Okay, so both in the cash and the kind, these can be given. But these suggestions have not yet been accepted by any of the political parties. If and when these are accepted by all the political parties, it would be the result into some improvement. Okay, so when it is going to be accepted, that we do not know. But yes, one thing is very much sure, that the rules should not be very stringent, because they will have a means for how to cheat the people. So it should be such that their moral ethics should get up, should rise up, and they should be provoked towards their duty, that what is their duty towards the citizens as well as for their countries. Okay, so and the peoples may also rise up with this, and they can support the political parties. They can not only blame them, and they can ask the rights which they have not been given, and what are the means through which the efficiency in the democracy can be much more better. So both have to try in all their means in order to make this institution as successful. We cannot, throughout this discussion, we have seen that without the political parties we cannot walk out. So it is very much important that we should have the support of the political parties, and how much it can become better, the suggestions and the procedure should always be accepted. Okay, so I presume this lecture is enough for this political parties. I suggest you to go through the PDF. The details of this chapter has been mentioned in the PDF as well as in your NCERT. So please go through and have a nice day.